I've been doing work in the Eastern Cape of South Africa since about the year 2000, working mostly in township schools with principals and teachers and activists. And during one of my trips, I called home and my son Case answered the phone, and the phone conversation went a little bit like this. Hey, Papa, what time is it there in South Africa? Oh, it's about 6 in the morning on Friday. What time is it back in Seattle, Case? Oh, Papa, it's about 10 o'clock at night on Thursday. Hey, Papa, guess what? What? You're in the future. South Africa is in the future. And I thought, man, that's pretty wise for a 6-year-old. But as I got to know these teachers and artists and activists, I also got to know the word ubuntu. Now, ubuntu means humanity. It can also be defined as we are, therefore I am. If the common point of departure of identity in the West is based on Descartes' notion of cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, what does it mean to start with the we? The I is not displaced, but the I is set into a context of we. And what we are going to do here today is look at convening community through stories by taking a little filmic adventure, a little journey, if you will, through some of the projects that I've had the privilege, either through serendipity or through providence, to be a part of. Now we're going to take a look at a school gymnasium here in Seattle with Archbishop Desmond Tutu and ask the Archbishop, what do we need?
The world needs so very much to know that we are different, not in order to be separate. We're different in order to be those who complement one another.
So if we start with the we, how do we learn to act and be a we? How do we learn to act and be a community of practice? I would say in order to become a community of practice, we need the spaces and places to practice at becoming a community. So I was honored to make a film with the Hoh River Nation canoeing down the Pacific Northwest. And during one of the first trips, I was paddling with the young guys, paddling really fast and furious. And after about 6 hours pulling into shore that day, we were the last canoe to make it. The next day, I was the youngest person on the canoe by a good 20 years. But it was paddling with the elders, and they paddled, they pulled with a grace and with a purpose and to a rhythm. And you could literally feel that canoe rise up and make its way to shore. And we were the first canoe in that day by a good hour.
So traveling the highway of our ancestors is a big step for us, and it's key. It's a key in life, I feel, for a lot of these young folks you got here. Because if they can do something like this, if they can work together with a group of people and get to a common goal, move towards a common goal, then that's one of the first steps in life. Is in order to be a good team member, you gotta have self-esteem and self-honor of yourself, and how you take care of yourself, and how you carry yourself in a canoe like this. Same thing in life. You got to have all of those things in order to, I feel, even move towards any kind of success. So that all is a big part of tribal journeys.
The important part is we paddle to a rhythm. Stories are the rhythms that create the connections that touch us deep and resonates within the primordial sound boxes of our soul. And speaking of sound boxes and play, it's important we also play at becoming a community. Here we have students from Walmer Township, Port Elizabeth, playing basketball with Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam as they work together to create music, to co-create meaning, to create mutual understandings through an exchange of culture and the arts.
actually are translating the song, the actual lyrics of the song to Xhosa, and that jikelele goes with round, round, round. There's a line that says round, round, round. So jikelele means round.
There's no need to say goodbye.
This idea of chikalele, going around. Our stories aren't linear progressions. Our stories are based on reciprocity, one of learning from each other. This was part of the Molo sessions, and the sales of this album has actually gone on to create scholarships for these students who are now studying at university in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. Now, I want to look at 2 days in particular as to provide an example of using digital media to create connections that may not have been possible without it. The first day, October 15th last fall, the National Network of Educational Renewal was hosting its conference in praise of education just across the lake here over in Bellevue. And John Goodlad, who many consider to be the godfather of educational renewal, was hosting this conference by bringing together 5 Who Dared. These are 5 individuals who've been working in the educational renewal space for the past many decades.
One of the things I'm most concerned about right now is we've got to give agency to teachers and principals, agency for the decisions they make in their schools. We're dealing with a structure that is top-down, and it starts with the school board, it goes to the superintendent, it goes to the principal, it goes to the teachers. We got to end that nonsense. The second thing I want to say, I'll conclude with this, is we will never have good schools nationwide until we have a common public purpose agenda in agreement by the policymakers, the educators, and the parents and the community.
That common public purpose is the rhythm, and those are our stories. So that same evening, about an hour later, back across the lake in the Central District, Gabriel Teodros was holding a community event.
I get some criticism and some love for this fact, but I'm not going to change it, that every Gabriel Teodros show in Seattle is a community show. It's one of the things that I love about my shows, because the community that I grew up in is the one that helped make me who I am. I think something really unique about Seattle in general that kind of trips people out when we go other places or when they come from other places and come here is that it's not out of the norm for an Ethiopian kid to be best friends with a Vietnamese kid and a Haitian kid and a Mexican kid and maybe a white kid and a Chinese kid, and like that could be your crew, and everybody's bringing their own like flavors to the mix. Just every time I get a chance, I guess, to do a show in front of a lot of people, I like to bring my whole family and community with me.
What's up? This is Gabriel Teodros from Seattle, Washington, representing Abyssinian Creole, saying what's up to all the MCs, DJs, graffiti writers, B-girls, B-boys, hip-hop artists, and just people in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, and throughout the whole continent, man. Much love, stay strong, and yeah, man.
We never done this song.
What's up, Seattle?
It's my dude, Silver Shadow D.
What's up, East Africa? Sim it up. One.
If you live in Seattle right now, no doubt your life has been affected by the ongoing violence in the city, whether it's from the south end to the city. We wrote this cut on a way to curb the violence, you know what I'm saying? It's called Me and You, because that's really where the solution lies, is between me and you. You know what I'm saying?
You ready?
Silver made the beat on this.
Put your hands up.
Put a hand up right now for peace.
For
unity.
One.
Yeah.
Bang bang with the bang bang with the bang bang with the bang bang with the bang bang. Yo, listen. Yes, I talking to you.
Talking to you.
All the youth them die. Most of them this guy. When they choosing that crime, what can they do?
What can they do?
When they choose this life, gun, drug on a knife, all in that stool. Tell me what can they do?
Hey, Vodiel, Simchai, Yahav, Sibanongwati, Powers combined. Yeah, we'd like to give a shout out right there in the States, Seattle. I'll be there one day, just one day. Yeah, keep the fire burning, the Most High is watching. Yeah, culminate. Peace.
What up, Port Elizabeth? Laura Peace, Kelly John, live and direct from Seattle, Washington. I wish I could be there with you, but since I can't, let me leave you a little dose of street smarts. Master your craft. DJs, MCs, breakdance, and graph. Beatbox, street dress, street language, street entrepreneurialism, and all of the above. Hip-hop is worldwide, y'all. We do this. Peace.
Shades of blackness, we're live to send this one out to the 206 Seattle. Wake up, we one family, we one with you. Let's keep doing this activism for the transformation of society. That's what we stand for. We gotta use art as a tool to transform society. That's what we've been on. This is the situation where we gotta take some responsibility. Nelson Mandela Bay, we love y'all. What you want for me? Sure. What you got? What you have? What you got? What you got? Say the blackness for the landless, for the jobless, for the cashless, for the hopeless.
Those were part of the Sondela sessions, and Sondela is a Xhosa word which means come closer. So through the use of digital media, bringing these artists and activists a bit closer, a lot of that was filmed with some Skype and going some back and forth. The next day, October 30th, one of the things I love about Gabriel, he describes himself as being a high school dropout who teaches high school for the amount of work he does in after-school programs. So how do we connect these informal learning environments with formal learning environments, like at the University of Washington when the Center for Multicultural Education hosted a conference celebrating the release of this book. It was hosted by Dr. James Banks, considered by many to be the godfather of multicultural education.
I'm very pleased to welcome you to this conference that is designed to launch and disseminate a major center project, the Routledge International Companion to Multicultural Education. A major objective of this conference is to facilitate a comparative study of multicultural education across nations and to discuss the implications of education in diversity in other nations for enriching theory, research, and practice in the United States.
Evening, just across the way, around the corner at the Vera Project, there was a fandango being hosted.
In general, the idea is that through these activities, through our culture, through the things that we share, through our music, we make our community stronger, right?
And that's the beautiful thing is that, or the beautiful thing about the Fandango is that this is an event that spans across generations. The space is created for that, is so that families, entire families can come and engage one another and other people on this level, on this musical level, on this community level, without feeling like this is not their space.
There's this word, conviviality, within this tradition, being together, participating together, learning from one another. Stories, the imaginative act. The imaginative act, we could say, is always situated and dated in a society with a cultural matrix of one spirit or the other, where cross-currents of historical retreat and development are continually impinging upon what we do and who we are.
When you're free, freedom freezes ignorance to ignite intelligence, to revolt with relevance in support of a people's existence. Resistance proves powerful and present, boldly bolting against the nation's instigation, interrogation against the masses. Souls are mindless, find the burst in timeless, and are spun into the matrix of composing creations for liberation. Free to think, to live, to see, to be, to soar, to fly into new days. Following freedom into fresh thoughts that touch hearts and hold them in the challenge of remembering yesterday. So look through today with designs on tomorrow. Set your children free. Teach them that their souls matter, as does their earth. Help them to speak in free verse. And let them walk with the wind, glow like the moon, shine like the sun, knowing that in freedom we have won, we are one.
So I'd like to thank the late Kipchoge Kirkland for that spoken word piece and for the legacy that he left through his words. I also like to thank Cooney Chang for the motion graphic work. and to thank my wife Angelica, who we co-conspire in some of these filmic adventures. And I'd also like to thank someone I consider to be the greatest story shaper in my life. We know her as Nuna Bina, my grandmother, and she's going to leave us with a little bit of wisdom here.
Be alert, and you won't get hurt. Now you listen to your Nona, okay? Yeah, Nona.
Listen to your Nuna now. I would also like to thank all of you here today to participate as we continue to move forward in learning how to suspend our own stories so we can enter into the story of others, so we can create better possibilities of mutual understanding. So thank you as we move forward through the rest of convening community through stories. Thank you.